To our viewers, good afternoon. Welcome to this episode of the Community Show. Like I always tell you, the Community Show is tailored to have issues that affect the community directly, issues that affect you at grassroots level. And this show runs every Monday on the Civic Space TV. If you're joining in for the first time, please feel free to put your comment on the comment section, but also feel free to subscribe to this channel so that you can get our weekly notifications and weekly dose of conversations and of sense. This is the Community Show, and I'm Kidega Moses, the show moderator. Today, we are going to have a discussion around a very interesting topic, and that is oil in Uganda. We know that in 2005, Uganda discovered oil, of course, through our geologists who are trained to discover natural resources. We were able to discover oil. We saw the country having a national prayer breakfast to thank God or Allah for giving us oil. Why? Because oil worldwide is the most powerful natural resource that you can ever find. Oil has had an influence on global politics. It has had an influence on conflict. So it's a very powerful resource. Therefore, it's not surprising that Uganda had to hold a prayer breakfast to thank the Most High for giving us this oil. It has been a long way coming, and we saw that a few weeks ago, Uganda signed the final investment decision. This meant that the government of Uganda and the government of Tanzania, together with other stakeholders and investors, are going to put together resources to see that this oil in 2025, we can begin to extract the first barrel of oil. We anticipate this to come with a couple of job opportunities, a couple of economic development, and Ugandans are excited. But we also know that this comes at a cost in terms of human rights, in terms of environmental challenges, among others. So to enable us appreciate today's conversation, I'm joined by a panel of Wananchi, a panel of people who are on the grassroots to tell us what exactly is happening. Is government infringing on the maybe properties of citizens, maybe by virtue of trying to establish infrastructure like roads, or government is actually on track and everything is moving on well? And to enable us appreciate this, I'm joined by a panel that I'm going to therefore introduce. The first on the panel is Mrs. Lydia Ayesiga. Lydia is a community-based monitor and a community representative. Lydia, you're welcome all the way from Buliisa, and good afternoon.
Morning, everyone.
Yes.
My name is Lydia from Buliisa, Ngwedo sub-county. Seeing according to the oil and gas, since 2005, when they started, when the oil was discovered in Uganda, for us people in Buliisa and Ngwedo, we suffered a lot. We have an issue of when they started digging the oil well in Game Park. That is where we got the problem. You know, some of us, we are near by the Game Park. Through the sound of digging the explosion of oil gas in well, most of animals started coming out fearing the sound, because they stayed in their life when they are not sound in Game Park. They started coming out. But even if you go to the Total telling them that through your process, that is why the animals started coming out and started disturbing us. They can't hear you. With the time when we took the complaint, with the Total, they gave us some seeds. Even if we planted the seeds in the boundaries, nothing happened. The animals started coming out again. So that through with the oil, for us people in Ngwedo, we are really suffering a lot because of oil. Because we used to stay with animals all those days, they couldn't disturb us. This is the burning issue in Ngwedo because of oil. We have no food, we have where to dig. everything is there. Our children are not going to school. Most of them, even if you go there, all girls, boys, they're at home because no money. Because we used to dig and we sell our property to take our children at school. Nowhere to be seen. We are near with the Bugungu camp. That is where more total camp where he is in Buliisa, in Ngwedo, Muvule. But even if we are there, our people, they are not even working. Those who are working, they are washing toilets. And yet even as we have, in Ngwedo, we have the people who are educated, even which can do more things. They're just washing toilets for the Wazungu just for them to benefit and other people. For us in Ngwedo, we are not even benefited from oils. Even we have another issue of those of Total. They are delaying paying the people's money, which is causing family dispute. You will find the paps, the one who was supposed to get the money dies without money. And the family started fighting seriously for the money. And what if they give the money earlier? The owner gets the money before dying. That one, the fighting could not be there. But because of the delaying the money of people, and even if they pay money, the standard of the settlement of people, they're just building the same house. I don't know which plan are they getting. Is the plan from Kampala, from Buliisa? We don't know. The same fashion of the house. We have tired with the same fashion of house. And yes, the paps, they're just telling us, you people, we select you as the community-based monitor. Why are they constructing the bad house? And yes, you are seeing. And yet we don't have the mandate of telling them even, you change the house. They use this, they are using this big block, and yet which is not good for the people. They're building the same type of house, which is, and short, people are fearing to sleep in the house. All of them, all the paps, they are blaming us. We, the community-based monitor, we select you. Even as we have started fighting with the community, with the paps, because they know, even if they selected us, we don't have, even if you go to Total, you take your complaint, they just tell you, drop your letter in the suggestion box, they will pick which I'll call you there, and then it will stop there, they can't call you. So for us people in Ngwedo, we have suffered a lot with the people with the oil. We have not benefited, only suffering. That is mine.
Thank you very much, Lydia. That was very passionate from you. Let me go ahead to introduce our second panelist on the show, who has been able to join us on time, and that is Mr. Orebi Richard. Richard is a Global Rights Alert member or director. Richard, you're welcome. Do you want to follow the trend of Mrs. Lydia and give us your opening remarks right away?
Yes, thank you everyone that is listening to this conversation. Yes, my name is Richard Orebi, and I work with the Global Rights Alert. I'm so really pleased to be invited and be part of this discussion. You know, in Uganda, now all the talk is about oil, oil, oil. But there are issues, like Lydia have said, there are issues on ground that really need to be addressed, because if people to benefit, let me say the community members, like the people from Hoima, people from Buliisa, people from Kikuve, there is something that need to be done. And I'm sure this conversation will have something to do on tasking the duty bearers, the actors, on how they should move forward with the oil and gas development, so that a local person benefit.
Yes, thank you very much, Richard, for those opening remarks. Then the third person who has joined us on time on the panel is Mr. Mr. Asaba Harison. Harison is from Kakindo Women Development Association, which is a community-based organization. Harrison, you're most welcome. Good afternoon, and feel free to say hello to our viewers, or you can follow the trend of our two comrades and give us your opening remarks.
Okay, thanks very much, Moses. As you have introduced me, my name is Asaba Harison. I work for Kakindo Integrated Women Development Agency, abbreviated as Kawida, based here in Buliisa. I'm really glad to be part of this conversations on oil questions in Buliisa and Hoima. Just like how you said, you know, when Uganda discovered really commercial oil in general, our communities since then really they have a number of challenges, a lot of issues affecting communities, and all along communities have been together with civil society organizations have been pushing for these issues to see that really for them as the people hosting the oil also benefit. But this has really worked to me as Harrison, but as an organization, as really community leaders, we shall continue pushing to see that really our people benefit from this oil which was discovered in our region. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much, Comrade Harrison. We are expecting two more panelists to join us, and that is Comrade Nyamahunge Marius, who will join us later on. But for now, let us just continue with the conversation. And let me begin with Mr. Orebi. Orebi Richard, you are a Global Rights Alert member. Could you tell us what exactly could be going on at community level? Has development started? Has infrastructure development, for example, setting up of roads, setting up of these, big refineries? What is happening as someone who is on ground? Could you tell the viewers what exactly is happening so far?
Thanks. Infrastructure development, aiding the oil and development. Yeah, there is much that is being done. In fact, some of us who frequently travel to Hoima, who at times live in Hoima, Buliisa, if you compare that region with maybe from now and 2006, when the commercial viable oil was discovered in the area, you can really see that there is a great change, and this change, it is really happening at a very high speed. Because regarding the road, if you can see from Buliisa to Hoima, I think now the road is tarmac. Hoima Kaisotonya, that is tarmac. And then also Kingfisher, where the Sinok oil gas operator working, all the road network is now connected. So you can really see that there is big change. Then also, when we talk of refinery, in 2012, government acquired 29 square kilometer chunk of land, where the oil, like the hub, the industrial hub, where all the Ugandan oil will be collected before pumping it to the coast. So really, there is much that is going on. But the issue is now, how are these going to benefit? How is this affecting community? Because all this land acquisition, it's not that a land that maybe that was like a reserve where people are not living. They are all acquiring people's land. So now the talk is how a government catering about this local community whose livelihood are dependent on this land. So that is really the question. But in terms of infrastructure development, really there is great that is happening in the Albertine region.
Yes, thank you very much. Let me just take it back to Lydia. Lydia, you've heard what Comrade Richard is saying. Richard is saying infrastructure, we are doing very well. The road network is connecting very well. But the issue of land acquisition, the issue of maybe compensation, which we did hint on earlier on. So from your own perspective, as someone who is a community representative on this particular project, could you go ahead to maybe explain or tell us what exactly is going on regarding the challenges affecting the community? You know, issues of land, issues of maybe compensation, issues of, yes, you've mentioned earlier on the aspect of the animals and the game parks, but maybe you could expand on the issues affecting the community with the, you know, infrastructure development and with the production of oil anticipated to begin in the near future. So speak to the community issues, Lydia. Yes, Lydia, yes.
The issue of compensation is they're paying them, but they are delaying to pay people's property. There is the family of Makandi in Kirama. He was among the paps. He died. After dying, the family, he has two wives, and then the children, they started struggling for the money. We started going for to sub-county, we are collecting for the letter of administration for the death certificate. Even if we selected the death certificate, we took all process, but they are still fighting. Up to today, we are still fighting for that thing. We are still struggling for the whatever. We are for now with the PAPs. We are with the PAPs. We have there is no issue of, there is no complaint because they know every time they are getting their money. Now we are fighting with those of that family. Really, we are fighting a lot with those people. And yet for them, when they are fighting, they just call us. You are the monitors. You come and help us. Even if you tell them you settle. For us, we are going to decide what to do. Even if we got total, we said we close the account number. There is nothing to do. So that is why I'm telling that these people of Total, they should give money in time. Another thing about, you are asking the problem of community in the compensation, in what I have not got you well.
Yes, Lydia, I asked you to tell us the issues affecting the community in general. So I'm not specific to only the compensation question, but any other issues that are affecting the community because of the project being, you know, kickstarted. So do you want to speak about the issue of compensation? Because you said, yes, there is compensation, but it is taking long.
There is land grabbing also. In Buliisa, land grabbing is becoming a problem today because the person can come from nowhere, tells you where you are living is my place, and yet you don't know, and yet you ask yourself, that is where I normally stay. How can you tell me that it is your land? Land grabbing in Buliisa is becoming a problem. We are in Buliisa, domestic violence, it is now a problem. The women are not women, men are not men these days. Because of project, domestic violence is so much in Buliisa. Most of the children, peoples and children are not going to school. These men who are coming to work in oil, most of them, they are misusing our children. Even if you go in Buliisa, number of girls in school are few. Most of them are pregnant. Even if the president said that even if they are pregnant, they go to school. You go to school, they check you are pregnant, they check you go at home. Number of girls in school in Buliisa are few. They're just chasing them to go back. Even if you transfer, there is a girl, she was pregnant. Then when the chase her in Buliisa, we transfer her in Hoima to study in Hoima. In Hoima also, they did the same thing. And the one who pregnanted her, It was those people among of the who are the driver from the Sinotrack of they call them themselves Shakaman. He took off. He's nowhere to be seen. Even if we struggled, me as the community-based monitor, we met with the parent of the lady. We agree. I myself am the one who took the lady to school. They just stopped us. They said, "You go home." And the lady, she's there at home crying seriously. She want to study. They chased her from school that she's pregnant. I don't know what I'm doing now even. What I can do, I don't know totally. Because every time she's calling me, you girl, I want to go to school. What can I do? Should I abort? I said, no, you can't abort. Let us be patient. You will deliver, we shall take you back to school. I'm there. The parents said no. But for now, what I know, we shall work, we shall deal with the parents. She will go back to school.
Yes, Lydia. Okay, thank you very much, Lydia. Richard, let me come to you. Richard, you work with Global Rights Alert. You've heard what Lydia is saying. Lydia is saying there's domestic violence, there's land grabbing, it has had an effect towards access to education. All these affect on the rights of the people, okay? From a global rights perspective, really, do you agree that people's rights are being infringed? And if so, what is the way forward regarding, how can we address the issue of human rights that is being maybe violated either by the contractors who are working there or by the common good perspective of, we are trying to do something for the general public. It's a common good, but, a price has to be paid. A road has to pass here, therefore your house needs to be, moved away. So the issue of human rights, you could speak to that, Richard.
Thank you once again. Yeah, I agree with what Lydia is saying. And that's one of the reasons as to why we have the community-based monitors, the foot soldiers on ground, to keep monitoring these emerging human rights issues that are resulting because of the oil and gas development. Yeah, and we talk of issues that emerging. Domestic violence, land grabbing, then also the oil workers, people are working for the oil development, impregnating young girls. Yeah, all those issues we agree, because that's what Global Rights Alert, that's why we are on ground trying to see, monitor, and also engage the duty bearers and the actors and in seeing that all this development moves, but without violating people's rights. For example, if I give you an example, I've talked of the oil land acquisition for the oil refinery that is going to be hosted in Hoima. This took quite a number of years before a government compensating these people. So when you come and then you demarcate my land, and then you also tell me that we are going to acquire this land for this development, the period or the time upon which government or company is supposed to compensate people should not be all that long. Because once I hear that message that I'm no longer going to stay or to settle on this land, then it means all other economic activities that I'm taking on the land, I will definitely hold on it. Because I can't construct when, for example, I plan to construct a house on the land, or if I try to set up maybe a big plantation, I can't do it, because how will I do it when the following day I'm going away? And then government do hold long, to compensate people in time. And that really disrupt their planning. You find the activity that they are doing to earn money to send children to school is no longer carried out. And now you find for the oil refinery, for 4 years, children have not been going to school. Even that's before the lockdown. They have not been going to school because The school itself was affected. All the activity that people were doing on their land to affected, and really, this is very, 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 very serious. Where Lydia is in Buliisa, you've heard of there's a court between Total and the community. People are suing Total because the compensation is not good. You see, all these are what we are seeing in Rwamutonga, Hoima, where over 1,000 people were forcefully evicted on their land, you know, to pave way for the construction of oil waste management. All these things we are seeing. You find people are sleeping, they are internally displaced, you know, not because of war, but because of this development. And the global rights alert, we are there. That's why we are calling the actors, the Minister of Energy, local government leaders. If there is any development, let it not, people's right. Let the compensation be done in timely manner, in that people should proceed ahead with their livelihood. You know? We are seeing this, but Global Rights Alert, we are just calling upon that. Let us work together with the leaders. Let the government follow the law and the policies in place, while implementing, while undertaking this development. In that, really, people's right should be respected. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, Richard. That was very elaborate. Let me come to you, Comrade Harison. Harison, you work with the Kakindo Women Development Association, and I want to focus on the white development. The truth is that with this emergence of oil and with its extraction from the ground, we are going to begin to export a lot of oil, but also they are going to create a lot of job opportunities and a lot of infrastructure development and a lot of economic empowerment. And I want to believe that the people of the Albertine sub-region or Bunyoro sub-region are going to be, first-class citizens in terms of benefiting from this oil. So the women in Buliisa, you've heard about what Lydia is saying, domestic violence has increased due to the economic pressure, issues around access to education. So do you think that the development of this oil and its all the activities around it is actually one way or another affecting the women of the women of Buliisa? So please elaborate for us the magnitude of effect that it is impeding on the women of Buliisa. So Harison, let's speak about our women and how they're being affected.
Okay, thanks very much, Moses. Thanks very much, Richard and Lydia, for the presentation on this today's discussions. Once again, I'm called Harison Asaba. I work for Kakindo Integrated Women Development Agency based in Buliisa. Back to your question, Moses. Yeah, we actually all along we have seen really our women here in Buliisa being so much really affected by oil and gas activities ongoing here in Buliisa. For example, just like Orebi said, there is a lot of infrastructure development going on here in Buliisa. Like currently they have been constructing a road from Hoima, Hoima Kigorovia, Viso, Vutiawa, once a road, and I think that one it is in its final stages of completions. There are a number of oil roads going on in Ingwedo and the other parts of Buliisa sub-county and the town council. They are going on, but all these infrastructure developments, really, our women here have really suffered a lot. One, for example, for us as an organization, we have been looking at the issues of these oil constructors impregnating our younger girls, our school going girls, just because that these companies had their workers just residing outside, not in the camp. So as an organization, really, we came up with kind of an engagement, trying to engage the bosses of these companies to make sure that really their workers stays in a camp, not residing outside. You know, these people have money, and most of them, they come from a bit far away from their homes, and some of them, you get maybe they leave their wives very far. So once they get money, the first thing they do, they rush to these women of ours. Just we have been handling a lot of issues pertaining gender-based violence. These people taking someone's wives and those other things. And then also when it comes to really oil and gas, previously, there was really, you could get, like if something is discovered in someone's family, you find this oil company compensating a man and then leaving out, leaves a woman just behind. But as an organization, we said, no, this we cannot really discovered on a family. Both parties, a man and a woman, have to benefit from this. So actually, in this recent conversation, the oil companies came up with a policy just because of the engagement from the civil society organization, engagement from community activists. They came up with a policy like, if they have discovered a development, if there is a development on family land, both husband and wife has to be signatory to the account. And we have seen at least that one has tried to reduce on the issue of gender-based violence in our communities here in Buliisa. Really, there is also an issue pertaining women involvement in all these activities going on. You know, here in Buliisa, in most cases, there are these women who do kind of cultivations. And you get this oil coming up maybe with, if they're organizing like a community meeting, you find like they're organizing it in the morning, and most of the, like in the morning hours, that is the time you get women in the gardens digging. So you find that the women, in something like that, you find really women end up missing the information part in as far as oil and gas is concerned. So our women have been asking themselves whether they really have a role to play in the implementation of the oil and gas projects. For us, really, as an organization, what we are doing in order to see that everyone is brought on board, so we started up kind of an umbrella of women to see that really all these women are brought together, and that umbrella is called the BWODA, which is Buliisa Women Development Association. This association, it comprises of all women groups in the district, because right now in a number, the umbrella has 800 something women, and there are around 200 groups that subscribe to that network. So what we do with this network, at least every quarter, we invite the leaders of those groups that subscribe to this network to come and meet together, so that they bring the challenges that women are facing as far as oil and gas are concerned. And then we come up with a report. We invite the oil companies bearers. We engage them on the issues the women have really brought out. And then we have seen that the oil companies have really actually made it as a policy. Every quarter, they're inviting the women to consult on them on what is supposed to be really done, to see that they are also they also move with everyone on the board. So really, as you said, to me, as a Harrison, a lot really needs to be done to see that our women are kind of, they also benefit like men, but we are seeing if these oil companies can continue with what is now, what they're doing now, we have really hope that our women will be picked up and they will all benefit. And then really another thing which we have been seeing was on the issue of, like, you may get you say like oil companies, you find they advertise for a job, and the work is going to be done like here in Buliisa, but they tell you an interview is going to be conducted in Kampala. Then we ask ourselves, if really if the office or if the work is going to be done here in Buliisa, why do you take interviews in Kampala? We have an office. You always tell us that you have an office here. One time there was an issue. There was a lady who was who was going for an interview in Kampala, but just because that it was her first time to go to Kampala, she ended up really missing the interview. That's because of that, you know, as Kampala, sometimes when you are really not well conversant with it, you end up getting lost and what those other things. So those are some of the things I've been asking. If you know that the work is going to be done in Buliisa, interviews have to be conducted in Buliisa, but also Total has started catching up, doing those other things. We can see now most of the interviews, most of the work done here in Buliisa. And then also Moses, another issue is on, we are looking, is especially on the disruption of sources of our livelihood here in Buliisa. Really also my colleague Lydia tried to hint on it. Really, I agree that these oil companies, they are trying to do everything that they can. I see, for example, you look at maybe the PAP, like the oil company is trying to compensate a PAP for a loss of a jackfruit tree. You look, they compensate at once, and then that jackfruit is cut or destroyed. But what is now the future plan of that PAP? There should be a plan. If you are compensating, give something really you see that it will cater for this very person you are compensating for a bit long. You come and you cut really down my tree, and then you give me money or something that this one is equivalent to this. No, to us that one is really something which is not working, and this oil company need to look at that as a way of making really our people benefit from oil and gas. When it comes to infrastructure development, yeah, we really appreciate our government and the oil companies. Buliisa is not like the way it was. Buliisa is shining, everything. We are seeing they're moving on well, and we expect with this development, our women are going to benefit, and some have even started up, even coming up with their smaller businesses in their small groups. I think we are seeing they will continue, or if these oil companies really take them up, they will supply to these oil and companies. Only that we are requesting the oil companies and the government to try to reduce on some of the requirements they ask for someone to supply with these oil and gas companies. Thank Moses, I submit.
Yes, thank you very much, Ndugu Harrison. That was very elaborate and very educative. Thank you very much. It's always very amazing to see a gentleman advocating for the rights of women. I think that is a good way to go for us as a society. We shouldn't leave the women to fight for their rights alone, but where we can support as the men, well and good, we should put in a hand and support our women so that we can achieve gender equality. So thank you very much, Ndugu Harison, for being, we know that there is Kichwamba Technical College, which is meant to train, people and prepare them for the employment opportunities that are yet to come. And is this training helping in terms of preparing the locals in the Albertine sub-region, but also preparing young Ugandans who are there to get skills so that when the actual implementation starts, they actually are prepared to take up the opportunities? So Kichwamba College, is it offering the necessary skills, the skills that are required for the job market, the skills that are required for the production of this oil, or there's still something lacking? So you can speak to the aspect of the human resource development of the people of the Albertine sub-region, but also because I know that Kichwamba is not limited to only Bunyoro sub-region, it is an institute for any Uganda. So speak to the level of preparedness of the human resource. Is this college helping in terms of preparing people for the job market?
With the issue of that college, it is good. It is preparing people's skills such that the most of people, if they join there, automatically you will come back with experience, knowing I'm supposed to supply this, I'm supposed to supply this. With the business, you will become expert. That's the problem. Is even to go to Kichwamba is also a problem to the local people. You will find they will bring the form to the district. Only the people those who knows where maybe it is like this. They will bring the form to the district. But the local people in Ngwedo, the local people will not know about the Kichwamba. It is also a problem for the local people to go to the Kichwamba you are telling, the college. It is also a problem to the local people. You will find they may say that we in a district, maybe per sub-county, we need 10 people per sub-county. But to join there, you will find the only people for those people who are aware, you will find 4 people are aware. And yet the one who is totally badly off, where he's supposed to go, he or she will not go. But they will take for those people whom they have their people in the district, those who will benefit. The local people will not benefit. Even if you go there to the Kichwamba, you say that you people, Buliisa, you come maybe per district. You start asking this, who is the first of this one? You will find them, those people are known. But for us, we people in the local, for me, I'm talking with the people, I'm talking on behalf of people of Ngwedo. They are not benefiting of that college. I have never heard those are the people which they have benefited, people from Ngwedo, which I said that those one they have really benefited is these people. Already it is called, there is a technical group they came with. I have forgotten the name. They are the one. Those one they have the children that have known they have known how to. They have known how to. They have given them very many things. They have saloons. What? At least that one they have benefited. But the issue of Kichwamba, they have not benefited because they are local people. They don't know. Even if you go there in a village to ask them about the Kichwamba, they don't know completely the issue of Kichwamba even.
Thank you very much. I didn't know that there was also some bit of who do you know, in terms of accessing these technical colleges. I hope that the powers that be who are listening, the administrators of those colleges. Richard, I want to bring you on. I see yes, Richard, just before you move away, let me just bring you on. You've heard what Lydia was saying, and even earlier on what Comrade Harison has been saying, that the access to these domestic services is still being impeded. Yes, whereas these technical colleges are there in the Albertine sub-region, the people who are going to those colleges are not actually native members of this, Albertine region. But I also know that any Ugandan has the right to access education anywhere. So this Kichwamba College was not set up for only the Bunyoro sub-region. It was for any Ugandan. So I don't think it is illegal for any Ugandan to have access to this technical college, because like I said, it was set up for national consumption, but not only for the locals. So from that rights perspective, still again, do you think that it is right for the people of the Albertine region to assume that they should be the primary beneficiaries of these services, for example, the technical college, but also in terms of the job opportunities that are going to come? Because I read somewhere that they expect to create about 1,060 new jobs, So is it right for the people of the Albertine region to continuously advocate for the lion's share in terms of these opportunities, or it is only fair that any Ugandan benefits equally?
Yeah, thank you, Moses. Yeah, what Lydia and Harrison said, it's true. Yes, it's true that all these colleges, because let me start with the secondary education. You see, there are good schools in Hoima, whereby you find even students from other parts of Uganda, like Kampala. They go study there, and then like it's free, as you said, that it is really national. You can go anywhere and get education. But the concern is that when it comes to job opportunity or job employment in regard to oil and gas development, people, the host communities from Hoima, from the Albertine, they are being sidelined. You find even casual worker, even a mere people who wave flags on the road, like during the road construction or during the construction. When you assess properly, you find all these people come from far away outside the Albertine area. So that's where the concern is coming from. Now people are saying, how are we going to benefit? How is government, how are the companies going really to consider and give priority to the host communities of this development? Similarly, if you go to these colleges like the Kichwamba, the Kigumba Petroleum Institute, you find the percent of children from Albertine, they are really very, 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 very low. And what does that communicate? Because they are saying you prepare, you go and you have this skill, there are these colleges. But if those children, we don't have students from that area, that means in future they will have no chance whatsoever to compete with people who have gone to this school and have gained this skill. Yes, it could be, education at times. It also depends on someone's economic status or the money, like your wealth status at times. But it's also a role of government, because now this is a national, oil and gas is like a national asset whereby everyone should benefit. So why don't government encourage and really sensitize and even support, like if there is maybe if there is sponsorship, why don't they really put it in like really consider that every intake, for every intake, we by all means we need to emphasize students from Albertine. In that, when it comes now to job employment, they should also have that chance, because if you don't have the skill, then there is no way automatically you'll be kicked out. But the preparation, that's why we are talking about preparing community, giving them enough information, sensitizing them, encourage them, supporting them. These are low income earners community. They are local peasants. So how do you expect someone really to cope up with this? So it is now the role of government, it is the role of leaders to ensure that really our local community whose land are being taken for this development, they also have that skill in that, because now the area is changing. I earlier on in my opening remarks, I told you about the 29 square kilometer chunk of land that government acquired for the construction of oil refinery. All people have been, if you see in the record, in the database, like in the document, like RAP, you see the bigger percent of people who have been occupying this land. They are all peasant, local farmers. Now you take their land, you don't put much emphasis on preparing them how to benefit, maybe how to get employment in the sector. So in 15 years to come, how are these people going to survive? How are they going? Because now everything is transforming. Land, people have flocked in Bunyoro, they are buying land, there is, so meaning with time now, the whole system of peasant farming will totally change. And how do we prepare about this? Yes, oil companies have been doing some, they have been really supporting, doing some social corporate responsibility, where you find they are sponsoring children to this technical institute. Like we have those vocational institute in Hoima, the St. Simon, the Nile Vocation, and the children are being taken there. But if you really follow the oil conversation, the level of expertise that is needed, I think that is not enough. That is not enough. And we really, we are wondering, because if the colleges or the vocational skill they are taking these children to go and acquire skill, of which the skill again the oil and gas industry will not really will not allow. So we wonder what is that. I think it's also how they communicate, because now there are those people who are taken to these schools, and then to this vocational institute. They are told, we've sponsored you, we're preparing you in that maybe you can also have, you can also get employment with the oil and gas sector. But really, the company that is doing this, they all know that if someone maybe have graduated from those institutes, may hardly compete with someone who have maybe gone outside, who have gone in China, who have gone in Russia, So all that kind of thing. That's why community are wondering why. And we've seen this, because when a number of times when such people, they seek for employment opportunity with these oil companies, at times they are told that, and it is true, because the oil need really high level of expertise, But I think government is not doing enough. Besides that, I've interacted with a number of people who have graduated from Kigumba Petroleum Institute. My colleague my colleagues, 3 of them, they were sponsored by Italo to go and study in the UK, all in a way that they are being prepared to come back and serve in this industry. But up to date, they keep asking, is there a job? Or even like on the day one, when they flew outside, we knew that, okay, these are the guys who will come and do something in this sector. But up to now, so there is a big, there's this big information gap about how really people can prepare themselves to really participate and work in this sector.
Wow, thank you very much. Mrs. Milius, are you there? I really want to give you a chance to speak to us. Milius Nyamahunge. Yes? Perfect. Milius,
I'm there.
Yeah, perfect. So you can introduce yourself and give us your opening remarks.
I'm from Hoima. Unfortunately, I've been unable to start with you anytime. And most of the things I have not got them from you. Now the issues which I have about the project, It's about the ECOP of the ECOP. Those people who were affected started in 2020, but up to now the PAPs have not yet received their compensation, and they are very worried. They are asking themselves, which rate are they going to use? And they are worried they are going to be stolen because they are going to use the past dates. Another issue is about the Kabale Kiziranfumbi Road. Some houses were left hanging between the two roads. When the new road came, it passed behind them, and the old road was in front of them. Now they are remained in the middle. The kitchen, the toilet, the bathroom, the animal houses were all taken, and the main houses there is just there hanging in between, and the road is in the progress. Now these people are fearing. They are there, they have nowhere to ease themselves. They're asking what is the government after. They made complaints to UNRWA, but no any response from UNRWA. Now they are very worried. They're asking how are they going to benefit from these projects as the government is doing. For the time being, let me first end here. If possible, I will add on, because I have not been following you. If I'm out of topic, you'll excuse me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Milius. Let me go back to the issue of the environmental changes and how this project affects the environment. Yes, you're at the grassroots level, you work with the women, cooperative development, but I want to believe that one way or another, this project is going to have an effect on the environment, okay? Because if our women in Buliisa were participating in agriculture and they were cultivating their land, the industrialization coming up with this project is going to, affect climate, okay? There'll be climate change. And this one way or another will affect even the production of agriculture of the women of Buliisa. So do you think that people are doing enough to prepare the environment for what is coming? For example, planting more trees, for example, having good drainage systems, so that even when, the production begins and there are all these machines and all this machinery, the environment is well prepared in terms of, condensing or absorbing the carbon dioxide that is going to be produced in the air, but also in terms of the waste that these industries are going to produce. Do you think we have the proper drainage systems that are going to, safely pull out this waste and take them to a place where they are not in mix with, things like the natural water and things like that? So two aspects, the environment and how we are prepared to combat the effects that come with industrialization. Two, the aspect of the drainage system. Has the local government done enough to put up proper drainage systems so that, the environment is safeguarded? So Harison, please respond to those two.
Okay, thanks very much, Moses, for the question. But before I come to your question, I would like to add something on what Richard said and the question you asked Richard, especially on when it comes to scholarships and the employment opportunities. Moses, we had the Talo here, Talo Oil Company. This company had really a number of scholarships it could give to students. But this company had a well-designed plan for this scholarship. You could get, if it has like maybe 10 scholarships, you could find it has that out of 10, 2 are specifically for Buliisa. This student could go for interview knowing that we are going, 2 people will be taken from Buliisa, but which is not the case with these other companies. Remember, the oil is in Buliisa, and you get like their scholarships and the vacancy are just advertised countrywide. And Buliisa is a rural area, and when you look at even the schools in Buliisa, so you find that these people cannot really compete favorably with those other students from other districts. So as the communities, we are really advocating that we need to have some really stimulates the programs like what Italo used it to do. And then there is also on the issue of really casual laborers. My colleague Orebi also hinted on it. Like currently we have a number of companies that were contracted by doing a kind of construction of the settlement houses. But what we are getting from these companies is not what expected. Look at, you could get even the people offloading bricks from the truck. Yeah, the people from Mbarara, the people from Tungam, the people from Kampala. And we have even here the energetic boys and girls who can really do that. So we are looking at, I think, as the people hosting oil, if we don't really do much, if we don't advocate for these things, we shall just continue clapping hands and enjoy saying that we have oil here. And then back to your question, you asked me something on environment, and then yes, environment. Yeah, you know, like here, there are a number of oil wells that were discovered here in our district, Buliisa, and the entire Albertine region. And you know, with all these oils and all these infrastructure development, they are cutting of trees, they are clearing of bush. But when you look at the strategies, these oil companies, to see that these trees they're destroying, to see that these bushes they are destroying, they don't have really measures to cater for that. So for us, really, as an organization, what we are doing, we partnered with the National Association of Environmentalists, NAPE, to see that we are now coming up with small nursery beds where we are giving seedlings to our people to plant trees. But also, again, another challenge we have is planting trees and really making it mature to another level, to a big tree here in Buliisa is not an easy thing, because our animals here, they graze freely, so really planting a tree and maintaining it to grow, it's not an easy thing one can just wake up and do. So what we are advocating for these oil companies to do, yeah, is fine. They have some programs like giving the seedling to the people, but the only challenge is maintaining it. People are not really being sensitized and given enough support to see that these trees they are giving to communities, they are giving to the project affected persons, they are not really making up, they are not following up to see that these trees they are distributing, these people planting them, these trees there. So we want these people to come up with all those kind of mechanisms, all those plans to see that the trees they are distributing to the pups are really being planted, and also the trees are growing to replace the one they are destroying. And then another thing is, so, you know, sometimes you find these, the oil companies, sometimes they come and say that, hey, maybe there is an oil here. And then you find they clear the bush, they clear everything, they clear the trees and everything which they find there. But when it comes, sometimes after, they say that there is no oil here. And then they come, when they're trying to restore it, they plant only the grasses, and then they leave out the trees that were originally there. So as an organization, we are telling that if you are saying you are restoring, make sure you restore whatever you got on the ground, not only grasses. You talked of also climate change. Yeah, as communities here in Buliisa, we are really expecting that. But as an organization, and also working with organization. We are trying to do everything possible to see that we engage these oil companies to see that they have real activities to cater for climate change. We know there are going to be a lot of pollution, a lot of really tree cutting, because we hear they're telling us that so far they have only done the exploration only 6%, I mean 60%, and that 40% is also still there. So we expect the whole of Buliisa is covered with oil and gas. And you know what it means when you say that maybe there are oil wells everywhere. So these trees we are seeing, this the little one we have now, all these will be cut off and will be cleared, and Buliisa will just remain bare like that. So we want these oil companies to come up with a well-designed plan for really restoring these trees. If they are saying they are giving out seedling to project affected persons, give them seedling, support them with all what it takes for a tree to grow here in Buliisa. Make sure that the trees they're destroying are replaced.
Yes, thank you very much, Comrade Harrison. That was very elaborate. Milius, are you there? Let me just ask you one question because we are moving towards the end of this show.
Moses, sorry to interject.
Yes, Harrison.
There is also someone actually who was supposed to be part of us by the names of Beroshan. Beryl was Judith. No, she came a bit late, and actually she has these small phones and cannot really connect to Zoom, but she's here with me. If maybe you have also a question for her, because she's also among the project affected person, I think she has a lot to contribute to our topic of today.
Okay, sure. We shall just bring her later on. Let us first have Milius give us her opinion, because she's here with us and she hasn't had the chance to really speak. Milius, you're there?
I'm there.
Perfect. So, Milius, you work with the community, you know, regarding the people that are affected by this project. Are there any compensations that government has begun to introduce? Are there people who have been compensated, or this activity hasn't yet started at all?
The first people on the compensation of the first day of the refinery, those people were compensated. Even those of Kabalek in Mvumbi Road, some are compensated, some who had issues, are still, the compensation is still going on. But for those of ECOP, no one has been compensated as yet.
Oh, okay. Yes. So meaning there is some compensation going on, but not everyone has been compensated.
Yeah.
But is there like a time schedule that maybe the ministry has put up front, or maybe Total or any of the stakeholders? Is there a time frame that has been put across so that you know that, okay, I will be compensated in this month or in this day?
No, people are in dilemma.
Oh, so there is a dilemma.
Even those of the feeder pipeline from Buliisa to the refinery, they are compensating one person. It takes like 2 months, they compensate another one. It takes like 2 months, like that. People are not aware of when they will be compensated.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Now, unfortunately, our time is fast spent, so I'm going to give all of you 2 minutes to give us your final remarks. So I'll give all of you 2 minutes so you can give us your final remarks on this show regarding this topic, and I'll begin with you, Richard. Richard, I can see you're already tuned on. You have 2 minutes to give us your closing remarks rather, sorry. Then I'll go to Lydia, then I'll go to Harrison, then finally Milius. So in that order, please.
Yes, thank you, Moses and other colleagues from the Albertine for this wonderful conversation. Yeah, really, what I can say is that we welcome this development, oil and gas development. Everywhere in the Albertine, other part of Uganda, people are excited. And indeed, we have hope that this will come and change the economy and change people from the Albertine. And we really achieve, and also will be like other oil producing countries, like we see the Norway. But the issue is how is government and the oil companies, how are they conducting this? You know, when we are talking about oil and gas, we tend to look at a higher level. We tend to look at, you know, like a bigger picture, the economy that will, you know, the amount of money that is going to flow into this economy. But we forget the local person, we forget the Judys, we forget the Milius, we forget the local person who is sacrificing first. You know, when you come and you acquire my land, you come and you say, I want to use this land. It means me, I've sacrificed. But now, what do you think about me? You know, yes, we appreciate there is a road network, there is this other infrastructure, the schools, we've seen the oil companies are constructing the school, but that is not enough. The main thing is, how are you, you know, the whole issue in the Albertine is about compensation. You know, there is ongoing land acquisition for the eco. From 2018 to date, people were stopped from using their land with hope that maybe 1 month time, prior to the communication that now we are going to use this land for the eco development. Nothing, no compensation has been paid. And these are the land people use to cultivate their coffee, their banana, they sell and then take children to school, they get medication, different things, you know, to sustain their livelihood. Nothing. So that is the direction upon which we are talking. Let this be changed. Let government follow. There are laws in place, but is being followed like poorly, you know, during the implementation of all this oil and gas development in regard to communities' livelihood. So my say is that government should really act up. They should work, they should care about people. If we are talking in terms of environment, let people also be sensitized how to, you know, about the likely challenge that the oil will bring to our environment. So I think the whole thing is information and also following the policies and making sure that the laws that are in place should be followed, in that every a planned development should be really perfect and not violating the rights of local community. And that's when we shall say really oil has transformed, oil has really changed the peasant farmer into another economic status. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. Lydia, the floor is yours. You have 2 minutes, then I'll come to Harison and Milius.
Thank you. For me, my remark, I'm starting appreciating the government on the development given us, constructed for us roads, yes, but I'm requesting the government to remember us people in Buliisa. Mostly in Mvule, we have problem of wild animals. Our MPs, they should also remember, the government should also remember us. We don't know where to take the issues. They should send for us people in Mvule. We don't know even our Minister of Bunyoro's affairs, we don't know. Such that if we know, we could take our complaint to the minister. We don't know. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Lydia. Yes, Harison, the floor is yours. Your final remarks.
Moses, thanks very much for this. Thanks, colleagues, Richard, Lydia, and Milius. In my closing remarks, I really thank the organizers for this. We have really tried to come up with issues that affect our people in the Albertine region here, where oil and gas was discovered. Actually, I want to conclude with the one issue, trying also to request the oil company. Really, they need to do much on the communities, not concentrating, not looking at the government, because these are the people who will be affected at the end of the day. I really encourage that the government or the oil companies come with an approach which is at least a right-based approach rather than needs-based approach. Because in most cases, you find that the company looking at the community needs, forgetting the rights in general. But for us, an organization, we are trying to make that these people have to look at the rights of these affected communities. Orebi, when was concluding, he even hinted on something on the compensation. Yeah, Moses here. Yeah, people whose land that were taken in the way back 2017. It's now 4 years on the road. To date, they have never been compensated. Remember, the cutoff date was set, was really imposed on them. They no longer cultivate, they no longer do any kind of development on their roads. So people have nothing to eat. They have never been compensated. They're not giving them any information on when to be compensated. So people are just there. They don't know what is going on.
Thank you very much. Finally, Milius, your last words on the show.
Government and adequate compensation. On environmental issues, as these projects are going on, many trees are being cut off without replacement. And at first, the government had promised us that as it will be destroying trees during these activities like the airport, these roads, main trees are being destroyed. They had promised that it will be planting more trees in the villages. But up to now, I have never seen any tree. Now I'm requesting it kindly to encourage people to plant more trees and even dispute seedlings. Even non-governmental organization can help us and bring seedlings and encourage these people, the villagers, to plant more trees so that we recover our environment. As the climate change has come, we have to fight for it. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much, our panelists, Comrade Milius, Ndugu Harison, Comrade Lydia, and Comrade Richard. Thank you all very much for sparing the time to speak to us and let us know what is going on at community level in Buliisa and in Hoima. From the Civic Space TV, we appreciate your time and we appreciate the knowledge that you've shared with us. To our viewers, thank you very much for always sparing the time to listen into these community show conversations. It means a lot to us. Please feel free to put your comment on the comment section. Feel free to also subscribe to this channel so that you can get our weekly notifications and weekly updates of the shows that are coming up. From me to you, thank you very much. Have a lovely week. This has been the community show casting a light on oil and gas production in the Albertine sub-region. Thank you very much. Until next week, bye-bye.